Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes we go through life asleep. I don't mean we're literally unconscious. I mean we're sleepwalking through our days, letting routines define our story instead of our own convictions. We wake up to alarms, rush into the day, but our hearts remain slumbering. We coast on autopilot, afraid to step off the worn path, afraid to feel the sharp edges of our own potential. But deep inside every one of us is a fire, an insistence, a call, a relentless whisper that says, "Wake up." Because life doesn't wait, it doesn't pause when you're comfortable, it demands presence, it demands courage, it demands that you wake up to who you really are. When you wake up, you stop accepting the life you were told to live, and you start living the life you were born for. You stop letting fear pull the strings, and you take hold of the reins. You stop looking sideways, comparing yourself to the world's definition of success, and you start defining it on your own terms. You embrace the fact that greatness isn't handed out, it's claimed through sacrifice, hustle, and unwavering focus. Every one of us has a dream simmering beneath the surface, a dream we've been too afraid to chase, a goal we tell ourselves might be impossible. But here's the truth. Greatness begins the moment you decide to wake up to that dream and fight for it with everything you've got. Not tomorrow, not once you feel ready. Today, right now, because readiness is a mirage. The only thing that matters is whether you wake up to your calling and begin. Now, let's be real. Waking up doesn't mean comfort. It often means discomfort, leaning into the unknown, facing criticism, risking failure. But those are the signs that you're on the right track. Discomfort is the universe telling you you're stretching the boundaries of your life. Failure is the proof you're trying. So wake up to the fact that pain and struggle are part of your purpose, not signs to stop. They are the tuition you pay for growth. When you wake up, you begin to see opportunity everywhere. Doors appear where before there were walls. You begin to realize that real value lies in your own hands, in your voice, your talents, your capacity to impact others. You start to understand that each morning is a chance to rewrite your story, to take small steps towards your biggest vision, and those steps, no matter how small, build momentum, they forge a path, they light a way forward. Waking up requires discipline. It's easy to say the words, hard to live them. It means waking up early to plan, to serve, to sweat, to create. It means staying present through conversations, staying hungry in your craft, staying humble in your success. Discipline is the bridge between sleeping through your life and winning your life. It's what turns intention into action. And see, when you wake up, you stop making excuses. You stop blaming systems, structures, setbacks. You stop pointing fingers, you own your results, good or bad. You understand that if you want different outcomes, you have to become different. You have to learn, adapt, and evolve, and yes, that's scary. But you wake up and face the fear anyways because you've tasted the vision of what's possible. And that vision becomes stronger than the fear. Waking up means committing to your growth. It means investing in yourself, mind, body, spirit. It means surrounding yourself with people who lift you higher, who challenge your thinking, who demand more from you. Because when you wake up to your potential, you see mediocrity not as the norm, but as the enemy. You seek excellence. You refuse to settle. You refuse to drown in the noise of complacency. We live in a time where distractions are everywhere. Menus of options fill our screens, drown our attention. We scroll, we swipe, we binge, we stall. We stay asleep, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Because we're entertained, waking up means shutting off the noise. It means choosing focus over comfort. It means saying no to the mundane so you can say yes to the meaningful. Ask yourself, what does your morning look like? When you wake, do you pick up your phone? Or do you pick up a plan? Do you scroll through someone else's highlight reel? Or do you invest in crafting your own? When you wake up, you don't drift, you steer, you don't consume your life, you create it. Waking up also means reclaiming your power. You are not a product of your past. You are not a statistic. You are a force capable of shaping your own destiny. Your mind, your choices, your actions, they matter, they echo, they transform. When you wake up to this, you start to live as a leader, in your home, your team, your community, your world, and leadership begins with service. When you wake up, you realize the gallon you fill for yourself only overflows when you pour into others. So you mentor, you volunteer, you encourage, you speak life into people who feel asleep in their own story. You show them it's possible to wake up and walk into their calling. That's how movements start. That's how legacies are built. There will be mornings when you don't feel like showing up. When your body aches, your doubts rise, the world betrays your hope. In those moments, waking up is a choice, a defiant choice, a choice to rise when the world says stay down, to move when comfort whispers hold still. In those moments, your commitment becomes your rear, guard defense. You push one foot forward, then another. Each step says, I am awake, I am awake. Your purpose isn't waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is a myth. Life isn't perfect. People aren't perfect. Circumstances aren't perfect. But what is perfect is your power to wake up. Right here, right now, with your breath, with your heartbeat, with your next decision. That's where greatness lives. In the next moment, we refuse to sleep. So wake up to the beauty and pain of your story. Wake up to your potential and your calling. Wake up to the truth that life is unfolding in every heartbeat and that you have a vote in what it becomes. Decide today you will wake with purpose, live with intention, and serve with passion. Let your morning mirror the life you're building. When you wake up like that, you don't just exist. You live. You don't just dream. You create. You don't just follow. You lead. Too many people go through life half awake, like they're waiting on something or someone to shake them up, to give them permission to start living fully. They wake up each day but not really alive, not really present. They move through the motions, eat, sleep, work, repeat. But their spirit stays on snooze. They let life happen to them instead of choosing how to respond to it. They wait for the perfect opportunity, the perfect timing, the perfect circumstance. But here's the truth that too many people ignore. No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to push the start button on your dream. You've got to wake yourself up and take full ownership of your life. Taking ownership means no more blaming, not your parents, not your past, not the economy, your boss, your ex, your circumstances. Because the moment you put the blame out there, you give your power away. You say, I can't change until the world changes for me. And that's a lie. You can't afford to believe that. Real freedom comes when you say, I am responsible for where I am, and I have the power to choose where I go next. It doesn't mean everything that happened to you was fair. Life isn't always fair. Pain comes, loss hits, things fall apart. But even in the pain, you still have a choice. You can either be defined by what happened to you, or you can be driven by it. And that choice, that's where ownership begins. That's where awakening begins, not in waiting, not in wishing, but in standing up and saying, this is my life, and I'm going to do something with it. You've got to stop waiting for motivation. That's not how this works. Motivation is a bonus, not a strategy. Ownership says, even when I don't feel like it, I show up. Even when it's hard, I move forward. Because life responds to action, not intention. You can't think your way into success. You have to act your way there. And action starts when you stop making excuses. A lot of people spend years trapped in the same cycle because they keep telling themselves the same story. I wasn't raised with enough. I didn't get the right education. It's too late for me. Nobody believes in me. But that story only stays true as long as you keep repeating it. The moment you change your story, you change your life. The moment you say, that might be where I started, but it's not where I'm staying, everything begins to shift. Ownership means you stop playing the victim and start becoming the hero of your own journey. You take responsibility for your energy, your attitude, your decisions. You don't wait for the world to give you a reason to rise. You become your own reason. That's the shift. That's the mindset. You look at your life and say, if I'm not happy, I'll change. If I'm not where I want to be, I'll move. If I don't know how, I'll learn. And no, it won't be easy. But that's the cost of growth. That's the price of waking up. Ownership is uncomfortable because it forces you to admit that you've been holding yourself back. But in that discomfort, there's power. In that confrontation, there's clarity. The moment you stop avoiding responsibility is the moment you start creating change. Don't confuse ownership with perfection. It doesn't mean you'll get everything right. You're going to mess up. You're going to fall. But when you own your life, you don't stay down. You get back up, you learn the lesson, and you move better. That's the difference. That's what separates the people who grow from the ones who stay stuck. And ownership isn't just about what you do, it's about how you think. What beliefs are you holding on to? Are you thinking like a leader or a follower? Are you thinking like a victim or a victor? Because your thoughts shape your reality. You can't build a life of greatness with a mindset of limitation. You have to believe that you are capable, that you are worthy, and that no matter what has come before, better is still possible. Start small if you have to. Ownership isn't about making massive moves overnight. It's about taking responsibility for what's in front of you right now. Your habits, your time, your choices. Wake up and stop treating your goals like hobbies. Stop treating your potential like an option. Own it like it's your job. Because it is. Look around you. Look at the life you've built. Look at the things you tolerate. The standard you walk past is the standard you accept. If you're accepting average, that's on you. If you're surrounded by negativity, that's on you. If your life doesn't reflect your values or your vision, it's time to take that power back. Ownership means having uncomfortable conversations with yourself. It means asking, am I living the way I want to live? Or am I just existing? It means looking at your finances, your relationships, your health, your career and asking, am I proud of this? If the answer is no, don't run from it. Don't numb it, use it, let it wake you up. There's a difference between being alive and being awake. Ownership is the bridge, because once you take full responsibility, there's no limit to what you can change. You become a force, not just for your own life, but for others. Because when people see someone who owns their story, who stops making excuses and starts making moves, it gives them permission to do the same. You don't need a perfect past to build a powerful future. You just need to wake up and take the wheel. You just need to say, this is my life, and I'm not sleeping through it anymore. No one's coming to do it for you. But the second you commit, the second you step up, life starts to respond, doors open, people show up, opportunities appear, but not until you do. So wake up to your power, wake up to your responsibility. Stop sleepwalking and start showing up with purpose, with presence, with grit. It's not easy, it's not instant, but it's yours, and the moment you own your life, everything starts to change. Discomfort and discipline, those two words right there, they scare people. They make most folks back up, hesitate, run toward comfort, toward what's familiar, what's easy. But if you want to grow, if you want to become the person you were born to be, those are the two things you can't live without. Discomfort is the test, discipline is the tool, and together they are the fire that forges greatness. You can't wish your way to excellence. You can't hope your way into strength. Growth is earned, and it's earned by stepping into the places most people avoid. See, discomfort is not your enemy. It's not something to escape. It's something to lean into. Discomfort means you're moving beyond where you were yesterday. It means you're stretching, and when you stretch, yeah, it hurts a little. Your legs shake, your mind resists, you want to quit, but that's exactly the moment when something is happening inside you. That's the moment you're not just training your body, you're training your spirit. Most people stop as soon as it gets hard. The moment they feel the pressure, they tap out. That's the difference between someone who dreams and someone who builds. Builders don't quit when it gets uncomfortable. They double down. Because they know that's the place where growth begins. That's the place where weakness starts to burn off, where clarity begins to form, where your confidence starts to build, not because it feels good, but because you kept going when it didn't. You want to know what separates the good from the great, discipline. Discipline is the decision to do what you said you'd do long after the feeling you had when you made the decision is gone. Discipline is consistency without applause. It's doing the work when no one's watching. It's choosing the hard thing because you know the easy road leads to nowhere. Discipline means you wake up early even when you're tired. You study even when your friends are out partying. You train when your body says rest. You plan when you feel lost. You keep your promises to yourself. That's what discipline really is. It's self-respect. It's keeping the commitments you made to yourself when nobody else is holding you accountable. And let's be honest, it's not sexy, it's not glamorous, it's repetitive, it's gritty, it's uncomfortable, but it builds you into something that shortcuts never could. You don't get confidence from compliments. You get confidence from evidence. Evidence that you've done hard things. Evidence that you've endured. Evidence that you didn't fold under pressure. Every time you push through discomfort, every time you choose discipline, you're casting a vote for the person you're becoming. And those votes, they compound, they build habits, they form character, they shape identity. Suddenly you look back and realize you are not the same person you were. You're stronger, you're sharper. You've been through the fire and you didn't come out weaker. You came out refined. Now, don't confuse comfort with peace. Real peace doesn't come from ease. Real peace comes from knowing you've put in the work, that you've honored your responsibilities, that you've poured yourself into something meaningful. Comfort feels good in the moment, but peace lasts, and peace is earned through discipline and discomfort. Discomfort will reveal who you are. When life presses down on you, what's inside gets squeezed out. You'll find out if your commitment is real or if it was just talk. You'll find out if your why is strong enough to carry you through the storm. Because when the storm hits, and it will, you won't rise to the level of your potential. You'll fall to the level of your preparation. And that preparation, that's discipline. You can't grow in a place that's too soft. The gym has to hurt. The classroom has to challenge. The work has to stretch. The conversations have to get uncomfortable. That's how you become more. That's how you turn potential into performance. That's how you unlock the next level of yourself. But here's the secret most don't want to hear. Discipline is freedom. It's not a prison. It's not about restriction. It's about direction. When you're disciplined, you're not a slave to your emotions. You don't ride the wave of how you feel. You lead yourself. You do what needs to be done, and that makes you powerful. That gives you freedom other people don't have because they're too busy chasing comfort and avoiding pain. You want to get better, then make discomfort your training ground and discipline your daily practice. Show up when it's hard, keep going when it's slow. Trust the process when it doesn't make sense. That's the grind, that's where the results live, not in the hype, not in the highlight reel, but in the repetition. In the sweat, in the quiet commitment to excellence. And yes, you'll be tired. Yes, you'll doubt yourself. Yes, you'll fail, but keep going. Because discipline will teach you to rely on effort, not emotion. Discomfort will teach you that pain is temporary, but pride lasts. There's no shortcut around this. You don't get strength from avoiding the weight. You get strength by lifting it. There will be days you want to quit. Days you question everything, that's normal, but don't let those days make decisions for you. Let your values lead. Let your vision lead. Remember what you're building. Remember why you started. And when that voice inside says give up, answer it with action. Discipline isn't a punishment, it's a gift. It's the path to becoming someone you can be proud of. And discomfort isn't a curse. It's a signal that you're on the edge of transformation. You don't grow inside the line. You grow in the stretch, in the tension, in the push beyond what's easy. So embrace it. Embrace the grind, the sacrifice, the soreness, the silence. Because every time you do, you're taking a step toward the best version of yourself. And that version isn't born in comfort. It's built in the fire, in the struggle, in the relentless, disciplined pursuit of better. Focus is the new superpower. In a world full of noise, where everybody's vying for your attention, the ability to cut through the distractions and lock in on what really matters. That's rare, that's powerful, but it's not accidental. It's intentional, If you want to go somewhere, if you want to build something that lasts, if you want to be more than just potential, then you've got to take your focus back. Because the truth is, most people don't fail because they're not talented or smart enough. They fail because they can't stay focused long enough to win. Everywhere you turn, something's pulling at you. Notifications lighting up your phone. Endless scrolls and reels keeping you numb. Drama knocking on your door. Everybody wants a piece of your mind, and if you're not careful, if you don't get ruthless about guarding your attention, you'll spend your life reacting instead of building, consuming instead of creating. Wishing instead of working, the world isn't going to give you space to focus. You have to carve it out. That means saying no more than you say yes. That means being unavailable to things that don't serve your vision. That means understanding this simple truth. Just because it's urgent doesn't mean it's important. Most of what's fighting for your attention doesn't deserve it. Most of what's in your way isn't even real. It's just noise, designed to keep you distracted, busy, overwhelmed, and average. Focus isn't something you find, it's something you choose. It starts by getting clear about what matters most. You can't hit a target you haven't defined. You've got to know what you're chasing. You've got to know what the win looks like for you. Is it building a business, getting in shape, changing your family's future? Whatever it is, write it down. Make it plain. That's your anchor. That's your filter. If it doesn't move you closer to that vision, you don't give it your time. Distractions come in two forms, external and internal. The external ones are obvious: phones, emails, people, social media. But the internal ones are sneakier: doubt, fear, procrastination, perfectionism. Those are the ones that'll kill your dreams quietly. You'll think you're busy, you'll think you're planning, but you're really just avoiding. You're scrolling because you're scared. You're multitasking because you don't want to commit. You're hesitating because deep down you're afraid you might fail. To cut distractions, you have to be honest with yourself. You've got to look at where your time is going. You've got to look at how often you break promises to yourself. You've got to look at how often you check out instead of checking in. Because what you allow is what will continue. And if you allow distractions to run your day, don't be surprised when regret runs your life. Focus requires boundaries. That means setting a time to work and honoring it like your life depends on it. Because it does. That means turning your phone off, shutting your door, and telling people, "This is my time and I'm not available for anything else." That means treating your vision with the same urgency you'd treat a job interview, a court appearance, or a flight. You wouldn't show up late for those. Why? Because they matter. So why do you show up late for your own future? Cutting distractions also means choosing your environment. Your environment shapes your energy. If you're around people who gossip, you'll waste time. If you're around people who complain, you'll lose focus. If you're in a space that's cluttered, chaotic, or negative, it will reflect in your thinking. Clean it up, organize it, protect it, because where you focus is where your energy flows, and where your energy flows, that's where results grow. The most focused people in the world aren't the ones who never get tempted. They're the ones who have trained themselves to ignore the noise. They're the ones who've made focus a habit. They wake up and go straight to their priorities. They block time. They eliminate decision fatigue. They keep their life simple so their mind stays sharp. They don't need 100 goals. They stay locked on one mission and give it everything they've got. When you start cutting distractions, people won't always understand. They'll say you're too intense, too serious, too focused. Let them talk. You weren't put here to entertain. You were put here to execute. You were put here to build, and building takes focus. Focus means you're not everywhere. Focus means you're not doing what everybody else is doing. It means you're tuned into something deeper, something bigger. You're living with intention, and that intention will make you stand out. Some people are addicted to chaos because chaos lets them avoid commitment. If everything's urgent, if everything's a crisis, they never have to face the quiet truth that they're not moving. That they're stuck, that they've been stuck for years. But you don't need chaos. You need clarity. You need simplicity. You need space to think, to work, to grow. And that only comes when you decide to cut out what's stealing your focus. There's a season for everything. There's a season for grind, a season for rest, a season for connection, but you have to know which season you're in. And when you're in a season of building, focus is not optional. It's required. You can't build anything meaningful when you're constantly distracted. Your future deserves your full attention, and if you can't give it that, don't expect it to show up for you. Make focus your lifestyle, not a once-in-a-while habit. Wake up with a plan. Cut the noise. Do the hard thing first. Stop waiting for inspiration. Build systems. Stop multitasking. Single. Task and move with intention. Stop checking your phone every few minutes. Check in with your goals instead. At the end of the day, focus is a decision to honor your purpose over your pleasure. It's a decision to put progress over entertainment. It's a decision to stop reacting to life and start directing it. And once you make that decision over and over again, something powerful happens. You become unstoppable because now your time has a target, your actions have meaning, your days have direction, and your life starts to move, not by chance, but by choice. There comes a point where waking up to your own potential is no longer enough. When you realize that life isn't just about what you can get, but what you can give. It's not just about reaching the top of the mountain. It's about turning around and pulling someone else up behind you. Living awake means stepping outside yourself. It means understanding that your purpose is bigger than your paycheck, your title, your goals. It's about impact. It's about service. It's about leading from the front so others can find their way. There's a power that comes from giving, a power that money can't buy and fame can't touch. Because when you live for something beyond yourself, you tap into a source of strength that doesn't run dry. You stop asking, what can I take from this world? And you start asking, what can I bring to it? That shift changes everything. It changes how you walk, how you speak, how you think. Suddenly your life has weight. Not just noise, but substance. Not just motion, but meaning. You don't have to be perfect to lead. You don't have to have it all figured out to serve. Leadership isn't about being the loudest in the room or standing on the biggest stage. It's about showing up with integrity when nobody's watching. It's about living your truth in a way that gives other people permission to do the same. It's about listening more than you speak, giving more than you take, and sacrificing comfort for a greater cause. Living awake means knowing your gifts weren't given to you just for you. Your skills, your experience, your resilience. That wasn't just for survival, that was preparation. Preparation to pour into others. To be a light when someone else is lost. To stand tall when someone else is falling. Because somebody out there needs your story, needs your fight, needs to know it's possible to come out the other side. And you never know who's watching you. Someone's watching how you carry yourself under pressure, how you respond to failure, how you treat people who can do nothing for you. That's leadership. That's influence. And when you live awake, you realize every move you make either lifts people or it lets them down. So you start moving different. You start speaking with purpose. You start becoming the kind of person you needed when you were struggling. Serving others doesn't mean you have to give everything away. It means you give the right things, time, encouragement, knowledge, energy. Sometimes just being present is enough. Just showing someone they matter is enough. Because when people feel seen, they start to believe in themselves. And when they believe in themselves, they start to rise. That's the ripple effect of living awake. You stop chasing power, and you start creating impact. And here's the truth. There's a kind of peace that only comes from service. There's a kind of fulfillment that only shows up when your purpose aligns with someone else's need, when your strength becomes someone else's shelter, when your breakthrough becomes someone else's blueprint. That's where real satisfaction lives. That's where the soul gets fed. Not from applause, but from alignment. Not from validation, but from contribution. You don't have to change the whole world to live with purpose. Just change your world. Just start where you are, in your family, on your team, in your community. You don't need a platform, you need presence. You don't need status, you need heart. Purpose doesn't shout. It shows up, it serves, it sacrifices, it commits. But serving others doesn't mean you forget yourself. It means you fill yourself up so you can pour from overflow, not emptiness. It means you lead yourself first. Your habits, your discipline, your mindset. Because you can't pour clean water from a dirty well. If you want to lift others, you've got to be grounded. You've got to be healthy. You've got to be real. Leadership isn't about having all the answers. It's about walking with people through the questions. Living awake means knowing every day is an opportunity to influence, to inspire, to ignite. And that kind of influence isn't earned overnight. It's earned in the little things, in consistency, in showing up when you don't feel like it, in loving people when they're hard to love, in doing the right thing when no one's watching. That's leadership, that's purpose, and it doesn't take a title. It takes character. There's no legacy without service. There's no impact without sacrifice. You can chase the bag, chase the followers, chase the attention. But when all of that fades, what will remain is who you helped, who you showed up for, who you loved in their brokenness, who you believed in when they didn't believe in themselves. That's the stuff that lives on. That's the stuff that matters, and it won't always be easy. Some people won't appreciate your efforts. Some people will take advantage of your kindness. Some days you'll wonder if it's even worth it. But you keep going anyway, because living awake isn't about applause. It's about alignment. It's about knowing you're living true to who you were created to be. And that kind of life can't be shaken. It can't be taken. It can't be bought. The more you serve, the more you realize how connected we all are, how much we need each other, how your gift complements someone else's struggle, how your strength balances someone else's weakness. That's the beauty of it. No one makes it alone, and the more you rise, the more responsible you become, not just for yourself, but for the space you create for others. So every day you wake up, ask yourself, who can I help today? Who can I lift? Who can I listen to? Who can I challenge to grow? Who can I remind that they matter? Because when you live with those questions at the front of your mind, your life becomes a mission. Not a mistake, not a mess, a mission. There's a higher level of living, and it's not found in what you gain. It's found in what you give. That's the shift. That's the calling. That's the challenge. And when you accept it, everything changes. You stop living small. You stop hiding. You start stepping into your role as a leader. Not to control, but to guide. Not to dominate, but to elevate. That's what it means to live awake. That's what it means to lead with purpose. That's what it means to make your life count, not just for you, but for everyone who's ever looked at you and thought, if they can do it, maybe I can too.